Hi there, Foxy Gamers. Welcome to Planet Coaster Alpha 3. Today I am showing you a time-lapse of creating a Mickey Mouse out of the floral bushes in the game. Now I know none of this is specifically new to Alpha 3, except for the part where I turn it into a blueprint and upload it onto the workshop so that other people can use it if they want. That's the only new thing here that wasn't in the previous alpha, because all of these bushes existed before. I do wish there were a lot more color options at this time, and you can't change the colors of the bushes themselves like you can the walls and stuff. So I did just kind of have to choose different colors of bushes, but it's obviously not true to the real character. I guess generally, if you were to see one of these in real life, they wouldn't exactly be the proper colors anyway, because they do usually make them out of real plants, and unless they spray paint them, it's difficult to get the proper colors. So hopefully later on, new bushes and whatnot will be added, and I can make these a little bit more different from each other. But for the time being, I think this worked okay. Anyway, you can see in this video that I just put that building there next to it as kind of a size perspective, because I didn't want to make this so big that it would overwhelmingly take up a person's park. Obviously, it's still a large piece of scenery anyway, but that's kind of the point, because I want the character to be something visible to the park, and obviously a real person walking around isn't really going to be able to make out that this is a character. But my hope is that if you have a lot of high rides or paths in your park, that people can get a really cool view of this on their roller coasters or the towers, and that hopefully it will add to it a lot. So you can see the way I went about doing this was I placed down those roof pieces just as kind of like a guide where I wanted to stay within that area. And then I just started sketching out what I wanted, quote, sketching out, because obviously I'm not actually drawing, but just kind of using the bushes as a tool to sketch so that I knew exactly where I wanted everything to be. Because if you just start out oh, I'm gonna make some ears, and then I'm gonna make the head, and eventually things are gonna be out of proportion, and you're gonna have a lot more work ahead of you. So it's just kind of a good idea in general when creating a drawing or any sort of piece of art, that you do think of the overall big picture first, and then go in and refine it and add the details. And you can see that's what I'm doing here. I realized pretty early on that the best way to go about making something like this is to just place the bushes wherever you can to kind of sketch things out, and don't worry about refining things until you get to the finalized point of it, because I discovered that if you deselect and then click on another bush to move it around or delete it or something, that then you have to go back into the scenery panel and turn on the foliage filter. I mean, I did that because I don't like seeing all the other stuff in there, and that got kind of annoying after a while. So after I did that a few times, I realized that it's best to just keep drawing your character and go in and move stuff around later. Actually, I guess you can see that deleting things works okay, but if you want to move something around, that's what causes you to lose your scenery selection. So I'm just going in and filling in his face with another, quote, color, I suppose you could say, and piecing everything out. At some point in the video, I tried out using trees and sinking them down in the ground to see if I could get some sort of variety in textures and colors. But it ended up not really working that well, because partially because the trees actually have a blowing animation on them, and I didn't think that looked very good with the stationary bushes. And also, they're just not as full as the bushes, so when you zoomed out a little bit, it kind of looked like there was nothing there. So I tried to use things that had more of a volume from any distance, but you will see that the bush I chose for his shorts is not quite as good as the other colors, but I really wanted a variety, so I went ahead and used that anyway. I did this as just kind of an experiment with what I could create in Planet Coaster. I'm not super practiced or especially talented at making some of these buildings like I've seen people like Silverette make, so I figured that maybe I would try something that I thought I could do. And I don't know how this is going to be received, if people will like this at all or not, but if they do, I'm very happy to keep making some more characters, and if anybody has any requests, and it doesn't have to be Disney, I just did this character because he's very iconic, and considering there is a park based on Disney, I figured it was fitting for a theme park game. But yeah, if anybody has any requests on types of characters they would like to see, or any suggestions on this Mickey himself, if he's too detailed or not detailed enough, or too big, or in anything, I'm very much open to suggestions because this was just my first attempt at something like this, and I'm fairly pleased with the way it turned out. Like I said, I wish I had access to more colors for the bushes, but I think it turned out okay. Anyway, I think that's really about all I have to share on this. The rest of it is pretty self-explanatory, so I will just let the time-lapse video play out, and if you guys have any questions at all or suggestions, please feel free to drop me a comment below. Thanks a lot.